We are back, baby. Beer back here in the fantasy bar. 6 of my favorite plays for you for this Tuesday night slate, including some of my favorite values, one-off plays, some great power spots here, a starting pitcher I absolutely love tonight, and a beast of the night that has been absolutely on fire. Who we talking about? Only one way to find out. It's time to belly up to the fantasy bar. Welcome in, guys. Tuesday edition, Beers Daily Fantasy Six-Pack. Good to be back in the friendly confines. Little trip for your boy, but we are back. I've got 6 guys fresh off the tap for you on FanDuel and DraftKings. Thank you, as always, for stopping by the Fantasy Bar and checking out today's video. Now, before we get to those plays, you guys know the drill by now. Take a second, click that thumbs up button. Helps us out tremendously here. That is the tip jar here in the Fantasy Bar, so thank you for that. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the content. All right, quick 10,000-foot view of the slate tonight. We have Coors Field. You guys know the rules. Yes, it's always a great spot, especially for Houston tonight. But we want to find you some plays outside of Coors Field. We also have multiple weather spots, mostly on the East Coast. I think we've mostly avoided them, but if we have to make any changes, we will do so in the YouTube comment section and on Twitter. All right, let's dive in with our first play in the outfield with Roman Anthony of Boston. Now, we had Anthony last week, and I'm going to continue to play this guy at these prices. Under 4,000 on DraftKings, still just 2,500 on FanDuel. We know this guy, one of the top prospects in all of baseball, only a matter of time before he gets it going. We dove into the numbers last time about that. We're going to see some more numbers that are going to show us the same story, and we're starting to see it play out here. 7 hits over his last 3 games, multi-hit games in all of those, so continue to pay these low prices here. Look at the batting average on balls in play, just 258, and yet he is still giving you a 361 WOBA, an ISO at 200, and a barrel rate at over 18%. So these numbers should be even better, and I think they will be sooner rather than later. And I love this spot for him tonight against Brady Singer, especially in the power department. We have that combination of fly ball rate, hard contact rate we're looking for at 32 and nearly 58%. Singer, 8 home runs allowed to lefties this season. I think Anthony can make it 9, potentially 10. Great power spot here tonight for Roman Anthony. All right, let's go to the other side of the game and stay in the outfield with Austin Hayes of the Reds. So huge game for Hayes last night. That is not why we are playing him. We are playing him for multiple reasons, and the weather certainly one of those. We got temps in the mid-80s here. We got some wind blowing out in this game as well. We have a 10-run total, and we saw big numbers from these two teams last night. I think we get another high-scoring game here tonight with that total of 10, but Hayes has really hit righties well for power, and this is what I like here. 240 ISO this season against right-handed pitching, and gets a great spot here with Mr. Fitz, who has been struggling and has had some fits against right-handed hitters this season. 388 WOBA allowed. Look at that ISO, way up at 344, so a ton of power allowed here. That power combination in play at 37 and 51%. Those numbers are bad. Look at that batting average on balls in play at just 227. These numbers should be even worse for Fitz. I think the Reds put some big numbers on the board. Austin Hayes hitting in the heart of that order and fair prices at 44 and 3,100 on DraftKings and FanDuel. All right, we saved you on some bats so we could spend up at starting pitcher with Jacob DeGrom. So DeGrom's certainly going to garner some attention and some ownership here tonight, but we also have Yamamoto on the slate, and we talked about Coors Field, so people are going to have to make some decisions here. So ownership likely lower than what it should be here in this spot for Jacob DeGrom, and we can get different with our bats. So let's talk about DeGrom, and his season has been absolutely dominant this season. Hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in a start since all the way back in April. And over the last 3, starting to see that strikeout upside once again. 21 strikeouts over those 3 starts, and a great strikeout matchup here with Baltimore. We know this team has been very disappointing, and they strike out an absolute ton. 5th highest strikeout rate in all of baseball against right-handed pitching at over 23%. Another great spot here. Pay the price tonight on Jacob DeGrom. All right, let's go back to the bats and save you some money at first base with Vinnie Pasquantino. Now, I get it, Pasquantino been somewhat of a disappointment here tonight, but I really like this game, and I like the spot for Pasquantino against Emerson Hancock. Pasquantino, 362 WOBA this season against righties and a big hard contact rate above 58% this season. And the power, the name of the game here, Hancock, 12 home runs allowed only to left-handed hitters so far, so it's a big number here on July 1st. 379 WOBA allowed 267 the ISO, and a 47.5% hard contact rate. This game, very, very sneaky. I think Pasquantino sends one into the seats here against Emerson Hancock. All right, let's go to the other side of the game with one of my favorite value plays right now. That's Dominic Kzone of Seattle. So a little correlation here with this game. I mentioned I like it. I think Kzone sneaky for a lot of reasons. This game not being very appealing with all the other games on the slate. Price is certainly appealing and generally hits down in the order a little bit, which can help keep ownership very, very low. So I think this is a great one-off play if you don't want to stack this game. Look at the numbers here for Kzone. Again, we're going to bring up batting average on balls in play, 211. So been very unlucky, but still putting up impressive numbers. 386 WOBA. Look at that ISO up at 340. Imagine if that BABIP was near 300. We could be talking about a guy with a 400, 450 ISO against right-handed pitching. The barrel rate at 16%, also encouraging here. Big things are coming for Dominic Kzone, and I want to be out ahead of it here. Now, Lorenzo, nothing really jumps off the page, but hasn't been great either against lefties. 348 WOBA, ISO over 200, and gives up a good amount of hard contact at 47% in Kzone. Sneaky good value here tonight against Mr. Lorenzen. All right, it's time. Take a look at my favorite play for Tuesday night. Before we do that, let's continue our Beast of the Night contest. Easy to play, free to play. All you got to do, click that thumbs up button, make sure you hit that tip jar, head to the comment section, and guess fantasy points on DraftKings for my highest scoring hitter. If your guess is the closest, we're going to get you a free week of RotoGrinders Premium just for hanging out with me today in the fantasy bar. All right, let's wrap it up with my favorite play for Tuesday night. Mass Beast of the Night. All right, Beast time, we're going to spend up here in Coors to help keep this guy's ownership down. We are talking Kettle Marte of Arizona, tonight's Beast of the Night. Always an interesting dynamic when we have Coors on the docket here. A lot of these higher spend-up plays generally go a little bit under-owned. I think that could be the case here with Kettle Marte, who's swinging a red-hot bat right now. Over his last 10 games, hitting 350, 5 home runs, and 13 RBI, and he has been very impressive against righties this season. WOBA way up above 460, ISO pushing 330 here. Birdsong really struggling with lefties on the year. 384 WOBA allowed, 248 the ISO, and he really leans on that four-seamer. That is his primary pitch to left-handed hitters over the last 2 seasons, so a very big sample here. Marte has absolutely crushed this pitch. WOBA at almost 500 and an ISO over 380 here. Really good spot here for Kettle Marte. Easily my favorite play on the board and tonight's Beast of the Night. All right, guys, that'll do it for our Tuesday six-pack. If you have any comments, questions, feedback, hit me up in that comment section on YouTube or on Twitter at Beermakersfan and get your guess in. Fantasy points on DraftKings for my highest scoring hitter. Doesn't even have to be Marte. Whichever one of the 5 bats scores the most fantasy points, your number is the closest, you get a free week of RotoGrinders Premium just for watching today's video. For RotoGrinders.com, I am Beer saying salut, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Best of luck on tonight's slate, and we will see you.
Thanks for checking out our videos. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more DraftKings, FanDuel, and other DFS content. And you can check out our daily live show schedule on RotoGrinders.com/videos.